Okay, so I'm back again with Pat Armstrong. Hi, Pat.
Hello, Victor.
Thank you for taking time to join me again and share your health journey.
My pleasure.
So I wanted to speak with you again. I wanted to do this kind of second testimonial with you because even though we covered a lot of interesting things in the first one, and so anybody watching this should just watch the other one first to get your background. You had a really cool, and some might say unfortunate situation, or you had several unfortunate situations that kind of made you relapse,
Yeah,
right? And then you kind of hit a wall, even with the Iteracare device and everything else that you were
that's right.
doing,
Yeah.
right? And you ended up in extreme pain and being, I guess, being physically debilitated, I could say, right? Or were you,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I was in bed for 4 weeks. I couldn't move it. The pain was excruciating. Yeah.
Right. And that was in that same area between your left shoulder blade and your spine, right?
Yes.
So behind the heart,
Yes.
right?
Right behind the heart. Yes.
Right. Um, and of course I mean, you've been to many doctors and stuff over time, so you knew it wasn't like a heart issue, or so you weren't having a heart attack or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we did, so the one thing that I had never done with you was the emotion code.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
so at that point, I thought, hmm, I think we need to try an emotion code session. And you, I mean, it was kind of amazing, right? So just to give people some background, so when I do the emotion code sessions, I first check to see, are there any trapped emotions related to that issue, to that pain? And the answer I got was yes. And then I pulled out a bunch of stuff all related to that. And how did you feel after I did that session?
Well, the first session, I couldn't really tell with the first session.
Mm,
And same with the second session. I mean, what it was my dog, my 17-year-old dog. And my partner took her to the vets, and I thought she was coming home, and she didn't come back, and it absolutely broke my heart. And
oh,
I cried for hours and hours. And then that evening, all the pain started in my back, like we said, between the spine and the shoulder blade, and it was really, really bad. And then you did the first session. I didn't really feel so much difference. Maybe slightly, it had gone down a couple of notches of pain, but it went back up again the next day. And then you did the second session, and it was the same with that. And then you did the third session because I was due to go on holiday on the Friday, and you did this session on the Wednesday, I think it
mm,
was. And when you'd done that session, I felt different afterwards. I felt like a calm and peace come over me. It was
mm.
a special feeling that I've never had before.
Wow.
And I couldn't really tell with the pain at that point until I got up the next morning. And because I'd slept through the night, the first time I'd
Mm,
slept through the night in a long time. And then I got out of bed the next morning, and oh, it had dropped. It had dropped from about a 9 to a 2.
oh, wow.
And I couldn't believe it. And then I managed to do all the packing and get ready and go on holiday, which I wouldn't have been able to do at all.
That's amazing. That's
Mm.
amazing. Yeah. Now, it's interesting to note, I did another session after that, and there were still trapped emotions
Yes.
in that area. I
Hmm.
think I'm still not finished, actually. So it appears there's still a lot of trapped emotions connected to that area of your body or
Yes.
affecting that area of your body. So
Hmm.
where we are not done, but I thought it would be really interesting for people to understand that, it's not always that we just take one magic bullet or one magic pill and everything is fine. We have to keep moving along, and sometimes we hit an obstacle and we need patience. And you've been amazing, because from earlier this year, you've just continued to implement new tools and see progress. And when you hit a wall, you found another way to get around it by using
Yeah.
another tool. And so a lot of the credit goes to you. So I always say I want to empower
I'd say
people.
you, Victor. I'd say you myself.
No, well, that's kind of you, but I'm really right. I'm trying to empower people, right, to heal themselves. I mean, you did a lot of work. So for example, I would not have been able to even make this impact with the emotion code if you had not already progressed with the other things. Like you started doing the kefir and the broth and PBX, and you were doing a lot of things. You were already improving your health, right? And then the iTerra device brought you another level up. And so now I think we're getting to a point where maybe you can't make further improvement with these physical things, because you are now maybe now the biggest obstacle for you are these emotional
Yeah.
blockages, right? Or these trapped emotions. And of course, none of us are ever at ideal, perfect physical health, because every day we're taking in more toxins, but you are maintaining a much better lifestyle now, right?
Yes, I am. Much better.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And so and we've already discussed in the other video how you've made so many different improvements in your wellness. And yeah, it's really cool. And so, yeah, again, like I think you're a really good example of how the people need to empower themselves. And I can't help people, right, unless they help themselves first. Yeah. And so
Absolutely.
so your story is a very inspirational one. I hope it inspires other people.
Yes, I do too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to do this short one because who knows, maybe again, 6 months from now, maybe we'll have another one. Maybe there'll be some other things to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so you keep up the good work. Are there any questions or comments? Anything else you would like to share without us repeating all the details?
No, other than I had a fall and the pain went back up again.
Oh, right.
Yes, and it wasn't as bad as what it was in the first place, but it did go back up again. And then I was able to wand it. Whereas in the beginning, the wand wasn't working on it. It was giving me more spasms,
Oh,
Yeah, and it was causing more pain. But once the pain had gone down, I immediately felt the impact of the wand. And then I'd say within 3, 4 days, then there was no pain at all. Uh,
wow. Wow.
I
Very
might
nice.
sometimes get the odd twinge, but today I've not had any. It's just maybe the odd day, but nothing like it was. It's nothing to worry about at all now.
Wow. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Glad to hear that. Yeah. So, right. There's a lot of synergy between the different things that you're doing. Right. And so that's good. Yeah. And so I'm glad that the wand has become more useful again.
Yeah, yeah.
The wand, the iTerra device, for those that don't know.
Mhm.
Um, oh, I just thought of, there's one other thing we could mention. Um, you visited a chiropractor, right, to
Yes,
check on alignment issues, I tell people that all the time. I'm really big on that physical alignment. Even as an emotion code practitioner, if I have trouble connecting to people, there are a few things I check myself. One is to make sure I'm hydrated. If I'm dehydrated, that will affect my ability. Another is alignment. So sometimes
ah,
maybe I need a neck adjustment, I don't go to a chiropractor, but I think chiropractors are great. But I do different self-alignment and physical exercise and stuff. And so alignment is really important for so many things. And so you did go, and that was before we got to the, was that before we got to the third emotion code session? Or I can't remember the timing.
No, it was after.
It was
It was
after,
after.
right?
Mm.
But you
It
were
was
not,
after I got, it was maybe a week or so after I got back from holiday.
right, right.
I'd actually made the appointment before I went, and well, he hurt me.
You're right, right.
He really hurt me, and then I ended up in
Oh,
a lot of pain again. But once again,
oh,
I was able to reduce it all with the wand. The wand.
nice, nice.
So, mm,
Right. Very
yeah.
good, very good. Yeah, it is, chiropractics can be hit and miss sometimes.
Mhm.
But it was, you know, like, for example, I have more confidence in, if I have a client that is doing many things, many good things, I am more confident in them trying other stuff because
Mm,
they've learned how to recover, right? And so, as you know, I'm not a big fan of mainstream medicine or
mm,
allopathic drugs and all of that stuff. Unless it's in a trauma situation, then it's miraculous. I'm also not a fan of many types of supplements and things. For example, like a lot of people love to take lots of vitamin D, but that can cause an issue. However, if you've got kefir and broth, you've got a lot of these other metabolites. It kind of protects you from having too much vitamin D deplete stuff.
Yes, I
So
was able to reduce so many supplements. I took many supplements before you taught me otherwise.
yeah, that's
And
a
I don't feel I feel better. I
right,
must,
right,
yeah.
right. It's the irony of that.
Mm,
But it's unfortunate. I mean, the supplement market has kind of followed the pharmaceutical market. Just try to make people take many pills.
yeah.
And of course, those pills are not really filled with good things. We don't absorb most of those nutrients.
Mm,
So yeah, most of my clients, it's similar. When I meet people, they have a cabinet full of supplements, and then we try
mm,
to get rid of all of those and replace them. Well, kefir broth and a couple of things, of course, we do use. I always recommend the magnesium and the MSM.
yeah. Yeah, I'm
Uh,
doing that too.
yeah, nice, good, good.
Mhm.
Well, keep up the great work, Pat. And
Will do.
I think I can wrap this up.
Okay.
I know we can talk. I mean, there's so many details we can go into, but I wanted to try to keep it short and just really highlight the impact of the emotion code and even how working with the emotion code and the iTerra device and on top of everything else you're doing. And we'll do another emotion code session soon.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Thanks, Victor.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.